Hey everyone, welcome back to Nerd Dad Book Club. This is part 4 of our journey into Ernest Cline's Ready Player One. I feel like this web series is starting to become Ted Complains About a Book, and I apologize for that. But just to review what we're going to be discussing today, last week we decided to read chapters 17 through 21, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on that, and I will also give you a discussion topic for you to discuss with your kids if you're reading along the book with them. So again, I'm going to try to do this all in one take, and I apologize for what's just going to seem like me venting and ranting about a book, but that's kind of where I am right now in this process. And I think the thing that really frustrates me with everything is if you go back to part 1 when we first met and how optimistic I was on the journey we were about to go on in this post-apocalyptic society and how entertainment is used as an escape. I was really looking forward to the possible philosophical discussions in regards to all that. I was really looking forward to seeing where this book was headed. And instead, this has become just a slog. And I think the biggest thing for me is that, number one, I do not care about the characters at all. I don't find anything about these characters interesting at all. We are halfway through this book, and I am really hoping that something changes, but it's just the most generic story so far, and there has been nothing that I've been able to connect with Wade. If anything, and I'm really grasping for straws at this point, if online culture has taken over as much as it has in the post-apocalyptic society where personalities are pretty much null and void at this point, maybe that's a good commentary on how when we're connected with social media and we're not really people, we're just kind of reading text and we're lacking that emotional connection to anything. Maybe it's saying that, but I'm really stretching and trying to make this book smarter than it seems to be at this point. But yeah, I don't care about what happens with these characters and in this world at this point. And also, not only do I not care about the characters, but everything is so cliche at this point. The IOI, the bad guys, the big bad corporation. I complained about it last time, and how stereotypical the head of the IOA was, and how evil corporations are bad, and we need to fight against the big corporation. But there really hasn't been a reason on why we should dislike them. Besides, I mean, yes, they did some bad things with blowing up the stack, and which caused fatalities. Of course, that is bad, but that before that happens, there's no real reason given on why we should think that the corporation is bad. Besides the fact that all corporations are bad in according to social commentary. But there's no real reason given on why they're bad, and that's frustrating. And since I also have nothing to connect with the characters, the Gunters in the story, why should I care that they're the victors as opposed to the corporation? Why should I care anybody? Why should I care one character wins over another with this contest? I don't get that. Also, the other thing that's really frustrating to me is the pacing of what's going on in the lives of these characters. There are huge gaps of time that go by in which there's now, where we are in the book, the characters or the players in this game have progressed to a point that they've never been before. It's very exciting, and with the potential that the end is near, and somebody's going to find it. And yet there's no real sense of urgency to any of these characters on them winning the game, which doesn't make any sense to me either. Especially like when there's the birthday party, and then Wade and there's the breakup, or the supposed breakup, or they don't have feelings for each other anymore, and he goes away pouting, and like months go by and he's not working towards the game with so much at stake. It just doesn't make any sense. That's just like one big plot hole that just is frustrating to me. And the other, I mentioned it the last time we talked, but the fact that there's no hacking discussed in this at all, and the fact that Wade has gone undetected, even though he has an apartment, he has multiple people that work with him, either delivering him food or setting up his new rig in his new apartment, which we spent a chapter talking about how high-tech his apartment is, and yet nobody's leaking this information. Maybe that happens later on. I don't know at this point, but there's just such big plot holes at this point that don't seem like they're going to be addressed. I'm reading this book just to see why everybody thought it was so brilliant, besides the fact that it talks about pop culture things. And really, I apologize if this sounds derogatory in any way, but this is the nerd boy equivalent to Twilight. And when I've talked with people who enjoyed Twilight, what they enjoy is the brainless escapism of that book, even though I found that book incredibly frustrating because of the major plot points, and also the fact that I could not connect with any of the characters at all. Others found great enjoyment in it. And at this point, Twilight, when I read it, I couldn't get into it at all. And with this halfway through, I'm just reading it to see if it gets better and figure out why it's such a cultural phenomenon. There was, this past week, there was a new trailer for the movie adaptation of this book. And in the new trailer, Steven Spielberg, who's directing the film adaptation, is just gushing about how brilliant this text is, and the story and the universe that Ernest Cline has created. And I had a hard time believing that he was this passionate about this book, at least what I've read so far. When you think of all the different stories that Steven Spielberg has produced over the years or has directed, when you look at Close Encounters or E.T. or Indiana Jones, and how rich those stories are, and this is so hollow. I'm really hoping that in the second half, I'm blown away, and everything that every grievance I have right now, the next time that we meet, hopefully I am eating so much crow that I'll have difficult talking. I mean, I just want to see that switch. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to keep trekking through this book to see where it ends up. I enjoy hearing from you and what your thoughts are, and I need this time just to vent about my frustrations with this book. I guess this is therapeutic. I'm getting off track. So, bottom line, I am not impressed at all. One other thing, the love story. Why? They had one semi-interesting AOL chat at one point, and then they talk some more, and it read like your typical online relationship. So I guess that's realistic in how hollow that is. But man, the complete lack of chemistry between Arminius and Wade is, I just don't care. And why they had to throw in a love story, that's bad. I just don't care, and I don't see the payoff. Maybe, again, I hope I'm wrong. I don't see the payoff. And also when they're having their little breakup, and then the IOI guys crash the party in the big spaceships, and they're so blatantly the bad guy in the situation, and they're dumb in their approach to it. Just everything's so sloppy and cliche, and I'm just not enjoying this at all. if you are enjoying this, please share with me why you're enjoying it. I really want to see where people are what other people are getting out of this book, if they're enjoying it, why they're enjoying it. Please share with me. I'm dying to know. So that's my thoughts. We'll end my venting right now. Here is the question that you can share with your kids. So with the sponsorship money and the need to work on the game constantly, Wade has built this apartment with his rig, and there's all the services that are able to, he has ways to get food, and he's able to exercise in his apartment. He's able to exist just in his little apartment. Here's my question. If you had to live in an apartment, just a small space, you spent months at a time in this place, how would you and let's say money's not an object. You can do whatever you want, or you can have whatever you want in your apartment, but it's going to be 500 square feet. You cannot leave, but you can have anything in it. What would you have in your apartment? So that's my question that you can talk with your kids. Please let me know what your answers are in the comment section below. And then when we meet again, let's read another 5 chapters. So 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Let's read those 5 chapters. We'll talk again. If this is continuing at the same pace, maybe we'll just read more chapters so we can get this done. Maybe the next time we meet, we'll all be pleasantly surprised and we'll be very happy with what we're reading. Let's find out. So thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I will talk to you again real soon. Goodbye.